Will the aldermen please take their seats? Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Monday, November 13th, 2023. We welcome you to the November meeting of the Milford Board of Aldermen. Please join me as we salute our flag, and I'd ask you to remain standing for a moment of silence as we remember former Veterans Ceremony and Parade Commission Chairman and former State Commander of the American Legion, Tom Flowers, who recently passed. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Madam Secretary, will you please take the roll?
Alderman Archiola.
Present.
Alderman Beatty.
Present.
Alderman Broster.
Alderman Brosher would like to be excused, Madam Secretary.
Thank you. Alderman Casey.
Here.
Alderman Gurman.
Here.
Alderman Genentasio.
Here.
Alderman Marlowe.
Here.
Alderman Moffett.
Here.
Alderman Moore.
Alderman Moore would like to be excused, Madam Secretary.
Thank you. Alderman Morenin.
Here.
Alderman Pacelli.
Alderman Pacelli would like to be excused, Madam Secretary.
Thank you. Alderman Parente.
Here.
Alderman Vitro.
Here.
Alderman Vitale. Here. Alderman Willis.
Here.
12 are present.
We have 12 present. We do have a quorum. The next portion of the meeting is devoted to public comment. Statements are strictly limited to the legislative function of the Board of Aldermen. Please use every effort to limit public speaking to the permissible business of the Board of Aldermen. The time limit granted to each speaker should be 3 minutes. Residents, taxpayers, and electors may address the board at this time. The board encourages speakers not to express derogatory, insensitive, or offensive statements, or to engage in personal attacks against individuals. In order to allow everyone an opportunity to speak, I'd ask that everyone please limit their comments to 3 minutes. Anyone wishing to address the board can do so at this time. Please state your name and address clearly so the secretary could have it for the record. Anyone wishing to address the board?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. My name is John Drapp. 41 Jackson Drive is my address. As a result of the election last week, this board is going to look a little bit differently the next time it convenes. So I wanted to take this opportunity for this board and the prior term to say thank you. Public service always comes at a sacrifice. Even if you're paid, it's a sacrifice. All the more so if it's volunteer. And although certainly we can have our differences on policy, no one questions the devotion of everybody on this board to the city of Milford. So on behalf of the people of Milford, thank you for your time. And Mr. Mayor, the job of mayor is hard enough when you're elected to a 2-year term, but I imagine even more so when you know that it's going to be about a quarter of that time and you're willing to step up and put your life on hold and make that sacrifice. So thank you as well. Mr. Mayor-elect, thank you for your 16 years of service on this board, your service on the Planning and Zoning Board before that. Thank you for always putting Milford first in a positive light and being Milford's #1 cheerleader. I look forward to seeing you take the oath next Monday. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Anyone else like to address the board at this time? Seeing none, we'll move on to agenda item number 3, Alderman Beatty. Agenda item number 3, consideration of minutes.
Consideration of the minutes of the regular meeting of the Board of Aldermen held on October 2nd, 2023 for approval.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. There was no special organizational meeting. Under Chairman's report, I'd like to thank all the aldermen that participated in the Veterans Day Parade yesterday. It was a little cold, but I think everyone enjoyed the ceremony and the parade participants. With that, I'll turn it over to the mayor for the mayor's report and recommendations. Is there a report from the mayor?
Mr. Chairman, thank you. And yes, indeed, Milford turned out in large numbers to recognize our veterans. The wreath laying on Saturday and the parade yesterday. Proud to be a member of the community that doesn't forget and takes time to honor the sacrifice of our brave men and women. A few things. One is, I think I haven't talked about this yet. Several weeks ago, we had an open house that we hosted here in this auditorium, and the representatives from all of our boards and commissions, our appointed boards and commissions, came to represent their board or commission, and we opened it up to the public. The idea was, and I know we spoke that I told you we had this planned. My fear was that we had 20-something boards and commissions represented. My biggest fear was nobody would show up to hear what they had to say. But I'm pleased to tell you we had a good turnout from the public. We probably had about 80 people, I'd guess. And they stayed. The session went on for 2.5 hours, so there's probably a lesson learned there that we may time box some of those presentations in the future. But what was so critical about it was really maybe the first step in just opening up our city government. One of the first things I said to folks was, this is your house. If you haven't been here, why not? Come and participate. And so proud of the people who spoke, from the boards and commissions, and everybody in that room, even those people served on those boards and commissions, learned about what other boards and commissions do. And I hope that that's a tradition we should carry on. Consistent with that, I have asked and mentioned to a few folks from our nonprofits, some of which I haven't spoken to yet. I see Megan in the audience, but would like to see us do something like that in the spring for our nonprofits. Have more reason for our citizens to come out here and understand what goes on in this great city. So I did extend that offer today to Bridges and Milford Prevention Council, and the fine work they do at Boys and Girls Village and Bethel. I'd hope that maybe in the spring we could have them present and be sure we get a lot of people from the public to come out and hear about the incredible work those organizations do here in Milford. So the open house was a great success. I want to announce that Emma Johnson, who works in my office. We have 2 assistants in my office. Emma is there's one that serves at the pleasure of the mayor, and Linda Michelle, who's been in that office for 30 years. Linda has chosen to retire, and we opened up that position and interviewed several or many applicants. And Emma Johnson, who's in my office now, was chosen. So she will be taking Linda Michelle's position when Linda Michelle retires at the end of December. We hired her early on to do the transition and the training. And if you haven't met Emma, she's a force. She is incredible in that office. And the city is lucky to have her. So I wanted to share that with you. One of the opportunities I had to speak to some of the nonprofits today was we are holding discussions about opioid settlement money that we have to share with and focus on prevention and treatment of addiction. And so at present time, we have about $200,000, and I expect we will continue to receive installments on that. Some number has been bandied about whether we see that much or not, about $600,000 over some period of time. So we have begun discussions about how the city disperses that money across our agencies that deal with addiction and prevention. So that's some good work going on. We have had some discussions also in the office about food insecurity and to what can the city do to help coordinate or build efficiencies into some of our food programs in the city. And so we've done some good work there, and I think that work will certainly continue under our new mayor. We'll brief on these and other things as he knows, even starting tomorrow. I did submit a letter to the Department of Transportation today asking that they abandon East Broadway, one of the state-owned roads that goes from Silver Sands Park out to Seaside Avenue. And the city will take ownership. Ownership's the wrong word. We will take custody of that road once that's approved by the state legislature. The neighbors in the East Broadway neighborhood are thrilled. We're no longer beholden to the state to have to come and plow it. They will, before turning it over to us, they will fix all they'll pave the road and fix all the meridians between the 2 sides of the street and have it ready for us. Again, pending, probably won't see this actually happen until next spring, but we met with DOT probably a month or 2 ago. Public Works was invited, some of the neighbors down at East Broadway, our state delegation, and I'm excited about that, and I think the neighbors in the East Broadway corridor are excited about it as well. If I may, this is our last meeting, I want to take an opportunity to recognize our former mayor, Mayor Ben Blake. He is not here tonight. I think he is coaching basketball. But his term kind of officially ends on Monday, or our terms end on Monday. And we would be remiss to not stop and thank him for the work that he did for 11 and a half years. You know, he and I did a video together when I was stepping into this role, and they quoted me as saying, wherever I go in the state, people say, what a great city Milford is. And I said, it's true. And I'm sure you hear it too, wherever you go. That has a lot to do with the work Ben Blake did here for 11 and a half years. He was tirelessly committed to this city, and few, if any, love this city more than he does. And he did it while raising a young family. And so I have a plaque to present him, but he's too busy dealing with his family tonight to be here. But on behalf of the city of Milford, and I think this board who served with the mayor, I want to extend our thanks and our gratitude to a man who loves this city, knows this city better than anyone. And so, on behalf of the city, thank you to Mayor Blake for his hard work. And then finally, I'd like to also thank all of you. You know, as John mentioned, and it's so true, you don't get paid for this. And many days, many nights, it's thankless. And many of you have served so many years, selflessly. It's been an honor for me to serve with you and know many of you for many years. But I sincerely am in awe in your commitment and dedication to this great city. As great as our city is, it has so much to do with the members on this board. And so I have these plaques to hand out to you to mark, for some of you, yet another 2 years, with gratitude and with respect. It's been an honor to serve with you. I'll remember it that way, that it was always an honor to be here. For those of you who supported me from the very beginning, thank you. I made some commitments to all of you that, and I think this is true, city business is not partisan. We're not debating Roe v. Wade. We're dealing with educating our kids. We're dealing with paving roads. We're dealing with the operation of our great city. So thank you all for your support over my 7 months here, and even in supporting me to come into this position. It's been an honor to serve with each of you. I will hand these out if you would allow me to now, so I don't forget. Actually missing two. I gotta give one to Phil too. Yes, Ward. I'll come and get you. Thank you. If I may, Mr. Chairman, make the board aware of the following mayor's appointments. Jennifer de Blasio, 85 Viscount Drive, Unit 12A, is a member of the Conservation Commission.
Usually call off.
Motion has been made. We need a second.
Just information.
This is just for information, I'm
Yes.
sorry. Moving on to agenda item number 7, unfinished business. There is no unfinished business. We'll move on to agenda item number 8, new business. Alderman Beatty, agenda item number 8A.
The Board of Aldermen approval is hereby requested for the appointment of Raymond Smith, 65 Deerwood Avenue, as a union representative of Local Union 2018 for the Pension and Retirement Board, term to expire December 31st, 2024.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Alderman Beatty, agenda item number 8B.
The Board of Alder approval is hereby requested for the appointment of Lawrence J. Smith, 214 Pound Point Avenue, as a member of Milford's Government Access Television MGAT Committee, term to expire December 31st, 2024.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Alderman Beatty, agenda item number 8C.
The Board of Alder approval is hereby requested for the appointment of Brian Anderson, 49 Ingersoll Road, as a member of the Planning and Zoning Board to fill the present vacancy, term to expire December 31st, 2025.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Alderman.
Thank you.
Alderman Archiola first.
Sorry, it's not a question, just a comment. I've known Brian since the beginning of my political career, and I found him to be an exceptional mentor. I think he's an incredibly knowledgeable, kind, thoughtful individual, and I think the city's lucky to have him.
Alderman Parente.
Thank you, through you, Chairman. I just wanted to echo those sentiments. I've known Brian since I came to Milford, and he has a lot of fascinating background if you start to talk with him, and I'm inspired by you, and you'll be a contribution once again to our city. Your font of knowledge will help us move our city forward, so congratulations.
Any more discussion on the motion? Alderman Giannattasio.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you, I would also like to congratulate Brian. I had the pleasure of serving with Brian on this board, the Board of Aldermen, and gotten to know Brian personally, and I look forward to the work that Brian will do on the Planning and Zoning Board. So, thank you.
Phil?
Alderman Beatty.
Thank you. I wasn't going to weigh in because my hat tonight is to appreciate all of the appointments and not show any favors, but I have to weigh in because I followed Brian in the 5th District, and we served as alders together here when I was brand new, and he did serve as an outstanding colleague, as you remember my saying, and I welcome you to the Planning and Zoning. I've learned that you're a person of independence and that we can't predict anything other than good in service of integrity. So thank you, Brian.
I also would like to thank you, Brian, for stepping up. You have served this city well as in Planning and Zoning and with the Board of Aldermen, and I know you'll be doing a great job on the Planning and Zoning Board as well. So is there any more discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. At this point, will all the newly appointed board and commission members come forward to be sworn in by our city clerk? Thank you, board members and commission members, for your commitment to the city. I know you'll do a great job. Agenda item number D, Alderman Beatty.
The Board of Alder approval is requested pursuant to the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Board pursuant to CGS 8-24 for the attached lease agreement between the City of Milford and the Boys and Girls Club of Milford Incorporated for the city-owned property located at 1 Tudor Road, and to authorize the mayor and city attorney to take all steps necessary, including signing all documents to effectuate said agreement.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Alderman Casey.
I'm gonna recuse myself because I've been in the board of the Boys and Girls Club.
Alderman Vitale.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. I think this might be to the mayor. Congratulations to the Boys and Girls Club, but can you elaborate on where we are with the financials at this point and the grants that were given to the Boys and Girls Club? I know money's coming from ARPA, and there's another outstanding grant that's coming in, and can you enlighten us as to where that is at this particular point?
I think you're referring to the federal dollars that we're awaiting. And Alderman Marlowe, do you want to take the question? Scott, as you know, is the project manager of this. He and I discussed it a little bit earlier today. Really not sure when those final dollars are coming in, Alderman Vitale, but it's a good question. Scott, do you want to?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Mayor. And through you, Mr. Chair, to the rest of the board, I would just like to maybe just give you an update as to where we are on the project. As you all remember, I'm going to guess it's almost a year and a half ago, I think. Maybe it was a little more than that, there was ARPA money of $1.5 million that was dedicated to this project, along with $2.5 million that was supposed to be a HUD grant. We have the ARPA money, but we have not received as of yet the $2.5 million from the HUD grant. So what we've done, the project right now, we've hired an architect, Silver Petroselli, who has done drawings, has met with both Bill Garfield and Megan and gone over plans for the building, some work that's been done, rearranging classrooms and such in there. What we've done so far with the money that we have, because you can only use the ARPA money on certain things for the project. So what we've done is we have done the abatement work that had to be done there. So any, the floor tiles, and there was some other abatement asbestos work that had to be done there. So we've done that work, we've done the plans, and recently we've pulled out of the larger project. We're going to do the doors and the windows for the project as well that we can do under the ARPA grant money. So right now, I believe and I saw an email today from Silver Petroselli that talking about when the bids are due for the windows, and we're working closely with Chris Saley as well, because we want to keep the building to the city standards as well. But I would say this is that I'm anticipating and hoping that we get the money soon because the Boys and Girls Club does such a great job with the kids in Milford. It's an amazing organization, and Megan, just kudos to you for the work that you do. So that's sort of where we're at right now, and I'm always in contact with Justin, who is heading up the contact of trying to get this money. If I'm not mistaken, Justin, a while ago, I know there's an account that's set up. It's just like the check's not in the mail yet type thing.
Mr. Chairman, through you, that is correct. They have all of our banking information. We just need the funds deposited into our account, but we're making good progress. I'm hopeful we'll have an update relatively soon.
Thank you. So we are really just looking forward to getting the money and getting this project complete, because it's also going to free up Simon Lake, the space that the Boys and Girls Club is using right now, and that will turn into, I believe, space that the rec department can use. So it's going to be a win-win.
Just to follow up, Mr. Chair, maybe Justin can answer this. I know the 1.5 is guaranteed, but is there any guarantee the HUD money is guaranteed at 2.5?
Mr. Chairman, through you to Alderman Vitale, that is correct. This was congressionally directed spending, so this was a law passed by Congress, signed by the President. So we have it in writing. We're just checking a few more boxes with HUD to get this out. Unfortunately, they have been swamped. A majority of the grants that were approved about a year and a half ago did fall under the direction of the U.S. Housing and Urban Development. So they're a little backlogged.
So that, therefore, the money is guaranteed.
That money is guaranteed. It is in
Thank
law.
you.
Any more discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Alderman Beatty, agenda item 8.
The Board of Alder approval is requested for the attached resolution regarding Milford Board of Education concerning the HVAC indoor air quality grant for HVAC improvements at the academy.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Chairman.
Alderman Parente.
Thank you, through you, Chairman. Could we just, from the mayor, I guess, could we get a summary on this? I don't know if there's a representative from the school tonight.
Alderman Parente, through the chairman to you, this is work that was done in 2021, and but the criteria for applying for reimbursement changed since then, and they allowed for us to apply for work already done. So this was about a $1.1 million project. The Board of Aldermen, the Board of Education is actually looking at this as well tonight. They have applied for it. There's every reason to believe they'll get about 30% reimbursement. So the work's already done. It was done 2 years ago. This is an opportunity to reach back and apply for this grant, which would bring about $330,000 back to the city coffers.
Any more discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Alderman Beatty.
8F. The Board of Aldermen approval is requested for the attached resolution regarding Milford Board of Education concerning HVAC indoor air quality grant for HVAC improvements at Joseph A. Foreign High School.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Alderman Beatty, agenda item 8G.
This is a funny one, even though I practiced. The Board of Aldermen approval is requested for a bid waiver for the purchase of a Fleet dry pit submersible pump model 10-inch NT 3301.185 model number in accordance with the attached proposal.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Alderman Archeolo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. I do have a question. I don't see Chris Saley here, but I think I do see Steve Johnson. I think he might be the one to answer this. Didn't know if you'd mind popping up for a second.
I think Lindsay might be. Steve, I think, is Lindsay the one that can, both of you? Okay.
We'll both tackle it here.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Good. How you doing, Steve? I was just a little bit curious about how warranty repairs are done through this contract. So I noticed that Fleet and Evoqua both detailed their warranty information, but I don't see it for Airzon. And I'm wondering if the city takes advantage of warranty repairs or if we repair it with our own in-house personnel.
Yeah, I'll let Lindsay address that specifically.
Okay, sure.
Okay, unfortunately, I don't know off the top of my head what the warranty is for the Airzon blowers. Usually it's a 1-year warranty against defects. We haven't really ever had to go after that. Usually this equipment usually lasts 10 to 15 years. So existing equipment is about 15 years old. But unfortunately, I'd have to get back to you with what their specific terms are for that.
And it was 15 years without issue?
Yes, correct.
All right, very good.
Any more discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen.
We'll stay. There's another one.
Let's move on to agenda item number 8H. Alderman Beatty.
Board of Alder approval is requested for a bid waiver for the purchase of a Flit Dry Pit Submergible Pump Model 6, NT 3T02.185, in accordance with the attached proposal.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? I don't see any. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Agenda item, Alderman Beatty, agenda item number I.
Board of Alder approval is requested for a bid waiver for the purchase of 3 blowers GM 10S model in accordance with the attached proposal.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Agenda item number 8J, Alderman Beatty.
Board of Alder approval is requested for a bid waiver for the purchase of an Aaron Positive Displacement Blower Model GM35S in accordance with the attached proposal.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Alderman Beatty, agenda 8J.
Board of Alder approval is requested for a bid waiver for the purchase of a drive assembly model H40A-HT, CW, 0.03 PM in accordance with the attached proposal.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Alderman Beatty, agenda item 8K.
We just did that, no? No.
8L, I'm sorry.
Yeah, 8L. The Board of Alder approval is requested for the acceptance of 2022 Fire Prevention and Safety Grant, FPS grant from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, and to authorize the mayor, city attorney, and fire chief to take all steps necessary to effectuate said grant, including signing all documents.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Alderman Parente.
Thank you, through you, Chairman. I see we have fire personnel here this evening. Does anyone want to come up and tell us a little bit more about the grant?
Good evening through you, Chairman Vitro, to the Board of Aldermen, myself, Battalion Chief A.J. Murphy, and Assistant Chief Stephen Rabel here with me this evening. In regards, I will touch on the grant initially, just to give you a quick overview. In the fire department, we have a system called a Knox box system. All of the commercial properties in the city, many multifamily residential occupancies have a secure key system. You may see it about head height mounted on the building. Now, what this enables us to do is, after hours or at any time of the day, is allow fire department personnel to securely access that box to obtain a key to the building and gain entry into such building without doing any damage through forcible entry. So this current system we have employed in the city has been in place for the majority of my career, my 30-year career. It was a very secure system for its time, and it served our city well. However, as an assistant chief, we recognized at the time of my tenure as assistant chief, we recognized that there was new technology. There was a grant available to apply for. And as you know, the fire department, we're always aggressively pursuing such grants. We submitted for this grant for the new system, and we were successful in attaining it. And I'll let Chief Murphy expand on the numbers. But however, what this enables us to do is upgrade the boxes that are on the approximately 230 occupancies within the city of Milford. So we upgrade the security of those boxes. We also upgrade the key system. The old school current use key system is a key that's locked in the truck, and if it's dropped by mistake or lost, that key can access any of those boxes within the city. So it leaves the city very liable, the fire department, and we're culpable for such facilities. This new system is an electronic keyed system, which has a timeout mechanism built into it. So once the fire department retrieves that key and everything is logged in a computer database, we know what date and time that key was retrieved, we know when the code was accessed, we know what building was accessed, and once that key is used, and if it's dropped or lost or not returned to its cradle and secured, it times out after a very short specified time period, and it enables it inert to opening any other boxes in the city. So it greatly increases the safety and security of that and the accountability, and takes the liability off the fire department and therefore the city. So I'm going to let Chief Murphy talk dollars and cents with you, and if you have any additional questions, please feel free to ask.
Good evening. I think it'll be, the dollars and cents is quick, but as the chief mentioned, if there's any other questions on the logistics of implementing, I'd be happy to answer those for him through you. The grant total amount is $138,324. The FEMA grant requires the department, the city, to non-federal funds of 5%. So our obligation is $6,586.86. So the total amount coming from FEMA is $131,737.14.
Alderman Archiola.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. I just had a brief question about upgrading to the smart lock boxes. Is there a represented expense on the business's part, or is that taken care of through this grant?
It's taken care of through the grant. There's no additional expense on the part of the occupancy owner. All of the components were purchased underneath the grant funding, and we are going to retrofit them through department personnel, so there's no cost passed on to the building owner.
Thank you very much.
Alderman Vitale.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. Good evening, Chief. Is that already in place? Or will it, the new system, is that in place already?
It's not. The older system is still currently being used. We are just waiting for the approval and signing off on the grant, and then we can...
So what do you think the turnaround time will be? How long will it take to get everything in place?
We're going to do it in 2 phases, but there's 2 main parts that we have to administer. Apparatus lockbox, and then the facility lockboxes. So the vendor thinks 4 to 6 weeks for equipment to come in, so another 4 weeks to install in the apparatus. And then we also have to go out to around 230 buildings and swap out the door vaults. So
Thank you, and thank you for keeping up with the technology, Chief. Appreciate it.
Alderman Marlowe.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, Chief. Because I do a lot of building as well on construction projects, is this going to become the new standard that you're going to require for any new projects that come up?
Yes, so what we do is, in the case of a new project, we require I'm not sure, we recommend to the building, we can't actually require it, we recommend to the building owner to purchase one because it's much cheaper to purchase the secure box system as opposed to us responding in the middle of the night and having to force entry and do damage to the structure. So we do recommend that, and that information is provided in advance to all building owners through construction, through our fire marshal's division, so we make that available to them, and they're aware of it, and many do elect to go that route.
Mr. Chairman, if I could just ask another question. Is there any other equipment that needs to be purchased for this? Any monitoring equipment for the system?
That would be outside of what's covered by the grant? No. Sure.
Alderman Giannattasio.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you. Good evening, Chief. Chief, so if there is a fire alarm that goes off and your fire department responds, you can gain entry through the key mechanism, through this technology, to inspect the building to see if it was a false fire alarm or not?
That's correct. It essentially, this secure box system, what is inside of it is the keys to the structure itself. So we have a second tier of security, meaning that we maintain a secure key that only opens the box itself on that building. So once we respond to that specific address, we request for our key to be released. We approach the building, we open the box, we remove the keys, and open the door to that structure. When we clear the scene, we resecure the key into the box, and we clear the scene. So we can gain access in and out at any time without waiting for a key holder to respond to the scene as long as the box is present.
Is it common to have false fire alarms go off? Is that a common?
It's extremely common, yes, sir.
Now, if they don't have the technology and you have to force entry, who's responsible if a door needs to be replaced or something like that?
Typically, it's the property owner that is culpable for the damage. But just keep in mind, as firefighters, we exhaust every possibility to enter that building with the most minimal amount of damage. Whether it's throwing a ladder to an unlocked window, again, size up comes into play here, and we have to take into consideration when we arrive on scene, what is the nature of the call? What do we visualize when we arrive on scene? Because if it's urgent to get inside, we're much less concerned about causing damage if there's no key box available. We're going in. However, if the survey proves, a 360 survey proves that we don't recognize any immediate danger, smoke, fire conditions, we will take the time to see how we can gain access to the most minimally invasive method possible.
Does the business owner sign a waiver to allow you to gain access through this technology? Is there a waiver in place as part of the agreement?
There is a form that they fill out and sign, yes, that they are electing to have this box mounted. It's on them to mount the box to the building, and once it is mounted, they in turn reach out to our division, our fire marshal's division, and state that I'm ready to put the key inside the box. And then we send an engine company or a representative from our organization out. We place the keys in the box with the presence of the building owner, and we secure it in front of them.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Chief, on all these buildings, obviously, there's more than one entry. Does that operation open up all the entries so that if the fire's on the side or fire's in the rear, you have access to those entryways as well without?
So typically, it's a great question, Chairman. We typically request that it's either a master key to the entire building or multiple keys that are labeled if there's multiple doors to gain access. Sometimes it'll be only two keys, one for the main entry and then one for all the interior doors, if you will. Sometimes it's a key ring with multiple keys, as I stated, that are labeled for the individual doors inside of the occupancy. It varies depending upon the location.
Sounds good. Thank you, Chief. Alderman Archiola.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just had a follow-up question. This is mostly personal. So I have a building downtown, and our box is not, you mentioned earlier that the boxes should be eye level, and ours is probably 9 feet up. Mm-hmm. Is that something that you would recommend? And maybe it was just a sign of the times because our building was built in the 50s. Is it something you recommend be retrofitted for other businesses to make it eye level for ease of access?
Correct, yes. We do recommend that they are, and you're spot on. It was initially, they were intended to be mounted high to prevent tampering, although they are extremely secure and almost impossible to break into. However, we did mount them higher up. The new standard is about eye level, so lowering them, absolutely, we do recommend that, and that's as easy as advising, calling into the fire department, the main number. We'll send a unit out to unlock the box and put the keys back into your possession so you can lower that, and then we can come back out and resecure them for you. You're welcome.
Alderman Gurman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to the Chief, thank you for all your explanations here. You also mentioned it was multi-families as well, or just commercial buildings?
Well, these secure key units are available to any occupancy that elects to install one. We would not balk if a single family residence chose for some reason to install one on their home. But typically that's not the case. This is mostly commercial properties or multi-family units or apartment buildings, if you will.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Any more discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Chief, Assistant Chief. Thank you for answering all our questions. Alderman Beatty, agenda item 8M.
Board of Alder approval is requested for the proposed short sale of 75 Cricklewood Road as set forth in the attached letter from Attorney Joseph Day dated November 3rd, 2023.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Sure.
Alderman Parente.
Thank you, Chairman. Through you, I think to our city attorney, could we get a summary on this, an explanation for how the city was involved with this property? Thank you.
Mr. Chair, through you to Alder Parente. So this is a request to approve a short sale. Basically, the property owner passed away, so it came through counsel for her estate. The property owner was the recipient of a single-family housing program loan back in 2014 through our community development block grant. The sum of the loan was, I think, $26,000. So by way of background, property owners can apply for these home improvement loans subject to income verification through our community development block grant program. It is a zero interest, no payment loan that, depending on the amount, is forgiven over a period of time. For example, if you borrow $5,000 to $10,000 through the program, it's forgivable after 5 years. In this instance, the loan was $26,463, so it was forgiven after 15 years. So that time had not expired. Unfortunately, the homeowner passed away. The debt for her mortgage that when she purchased the home, is north of $300,000. There's a purchase contract for $280,000 approximately. So there's no equity. So they've requested the city to forgive the remaining balance of the zero interest, no payment loan. So the agreement that we're seeking approval tonight is for the city to accept $1,000, which will go back into the grant program.
Thank you, and through you, Chairman. So is the $1,000, would that be a common number? Is there negotiation around that in these
It's more than
cases?
zero. It's not a common number, it was just what they offered. If we didn't approve it and the short sale fell apart, and the bank would ultimately foreclose, and they would foreclose out our interest, which is subordinate to their mortgage.
Is there any more questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor? All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Alderman Beatty, agenda item number 8N.
Board of Alder approval is hereby requested for the attached allocation transfer number 3, unallocated contingency in vehicles and equipment.
Second.
For the fire department.
Oh.
That's it, thanks.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Alderman Beatty, agenda item 8O.
Board of Alder approval is hereby requested for the attached allocation transfer number 4, fund balance unreserved and maintenance and repair of workboat.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda is number 10, budget memo transfers. Alderman Beatty.
None.
Agenda item number
10.
Number 9, there is no new business. Agenda item number 10, there is no budget memo transfers. Agenda item number 11, moving on to refunds. Alderman Beatty, agenda item number 11A.
Request for clarification. Can I do them both? Are we going to do them both
One at a
together?
time.
All right. Approval is requested for consideration of refunds in the amount of $69,865.10.
Second.
Agenda item, motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Alderman Beatty, agenda item number 11B.
Consideration of suspense list in the amount of $274,375.46.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Agenda item number 12, are there any reports from any of the standing committees?
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Through you, earlier this evening, the Ordinance Committee of the Board of Aldermen met, and we voted to forward to the full board the following ordinance for discussion and vote. It's an ordinance, amending an ordinance establishing compensation of city officials and employees in the service of Milford, Article 1, Public Safety Employees, Schedule R. Thank you.
You heard the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Agenda item number 13, reports of any special committees. Alderman Morenin.
Thank you, Chair Vitro. To the members of the board, I just wanted to report back. You might remember last month in public comment, we had one of our postal carriers come regarding the status of the senior housing on Jepson Drive in Overgrowth. So that committee doesn't meet on a regular basis, but I did reach out to Charlie Montalbano because I thought he was the chair, but he's actually a member, to be sure that that information was communicated to that board. And Charlie assured me that it had been, and he was aware, and that they did do the landscaping, and they did address some of the overgrowth. So I just wanted to report back because we're not allowed to comment on public comment, but I thought that it was worthwhile to share the follow-up on the upkeep of the landscape.
Thank you, Alderman Morenin. Is there any other reports from any other special committees? Alderman Beatty.
It's not a special committee, but just before we bid to adjourn, I have one more item.
I have one.
Before we... May I?
Alderman Beatty, you got the floor.
For the board, actually. We just wanted to thank the members, two of whom are not in attendance, Alderman Brett Browser, Alderman Carl Moore, and Alder Michelle Parente for their service as they retire from the Board of Alders. And we didn't want to overlook that in all our lengthy business this evening. So I echo the mayor's comments, appreciation and respect for service given without pay. And we wish you good fortune in your next endeavors, and I speak for the entire board.
Mr. Chairman, I would be remiss if we didn't include Alderman Gurman as well for his service.
I'm sorry, I'm thinking you're continuing, I'm sorry. Dan Gurman.
Chairman, can we just go back to the special committees? I had a couple of quick things I wanted to say. Thank you. I've had the privilege to be the liaison to the Sewer Commission, and I think that Alderman Marlowe and I would agree. I see you nodding. I just wanted to point out what a great team we have who are working on our behalf to keep our city infrastructure strong, efficient, and safe. And I really wanted to point out Beverly Hayes as well. She is a tremendous asset to our city. I want to thank her. And on the Fire Commission, it has been just a true honor and privilege to work with the men and women of the fire department, several of whom just left, but we could not have a better fire department. I think we probably have bragging rights of the best one in the state, if not in the nation. This Class 1 status that they have earned and continue to maintain is such a point of pride for our community. The work that they do, their diligence, their integrity, their honor is just something I'm so proud to have been able to sit in their meetings. They're led by Chairman McGrath. He's a tremendous asset as well. So I really just wanted to point that out and just say that I'm sure they're going to continue to come before us, and they have some things that they have on the EMS side, just had some awards. I don't know if you remember, Mayor, we went to their swearing-in ceremony, and there was a cardiac thoracic surgeon who had offered to come when he heard that there was going to be this event because he was so proud and wowed by our statistics. So again, it's been a real great honor of mine, so I wanted to make sure to share that. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Briefly, and I know we're anxious to get into executive session, but I would certainly be remiss if I did not extend my heartfelt congratulations to Mayor-elect Giannatasio. I know he will do a great job. He's shown his dedication to the city, and I congratulate him on his victory and look forward to his leadership for the city of Milford. And to all of you who stood for election, it's near and dear to my heart that people put their names out there and go through the rigors of campaigns. There's no winning or losing in my estimation. The fact that you stand for election is critical to our republic and our process. So for all of you who are returning and those of you not returning, thank you for having the courage to stand up and to put in the time and to run for office. It's what makes this country great, so thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Alderman Giannatasio.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to Mayor Smith. Mayor Smith, I've always said I had the distinct pleasure of working with 3 mayors, and I'm glad that I had the opportunity to serve with you as well. And from the very beginning, you told me that you were going to work with us in a very transparent way, and you sure have demonstrated that, and I appreciate that. It means a lot. It means a lot to the people in the city of Milford, and you've, did what you said you were going to do. You're a man of your word. You're a man of honor, and I will, forever remember you, and I want to stay in touch with you. I know that your heart is near and dear to the city, and I want to keep an open line of communication with you, and I look forward to a seamless transition with your guidance, of course. And to the members of the board, this is a little bit of a bittersweet for me. I've been here for 16 years, and this is my last meeting as an alderman, and I've had the pleasure of serving with some of you longer than others, but I consider everyone here a friend. And please, if there's anything that I can do in the future, if you have any concerns from constituents or just merely want to stop in and say hello, my door is always open, and I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Giannatasio. I also wish you best wishes in the upcoming mayor-elect. I know you'll do a good job. You're following an excellent mentor, Mr. Smith, and Mr. Ben Blake as well. I also have to remember that we had Alderman Greg Harla here at the beginning. He had got elected on this board earlier on, 2022, 2021, and he left a little early, but he still serves his time here, and I just want to make mention to congratulate him as far as the time he spent doing good things for the city of Milford. Any other comments? Alderman Casey.
Yes, I want to compliment you, Mr. Chair. I've been an alderman for many years, and I appreciate your, you try to be fair, and I appreciate your fairness, and I try to be impartial, and you let us, we try to encourage us to communicate, so I really appreciate that, and I appreciate you, okay?
Thank you very much, Alderman Casey. Any other comments before we go on to executive session? Seeing none, the next item on the agenda, I will entertain a motion to enter executive session to discuss items 14A through 14E. Joining us in executive session for items 14A through 14D will be the Mayor, Rich Smith, the City Attorney, John Bertram, and City Assessor, Marcus Eric. Joining us in executive session for items 14E will be the Mayor, Rich Smith, Is there a motion to come out of executive session? Motion is made to come out of section. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are back in session. Alderman Beatty.
You have to be patient, Chairperson. Okay. Hear that? (14A), consideration of the settlement of Robert Treat Associates, LLC, and the City of Milford regarding Robert Treat Drive 0 Robert Treat Drive, 1 Robert Treat Drive, and 81 to 91 Robert Treat Drive, 80 East Broadway, 0 Robert Treat Drive, 0 East Broadway, and 0 East Broadway. That's 14A. And there was some confusion last time whether we wanted to do them all together or one by one.
You can't do them all together. You got to do one
Okay,
at a time.
so we're doing them one by one.
You put that in the form of a motion?
Is there a motion? No. Point of clarification, are we going to do them all together? So the motion would be, or do you want me to read them one by one?
Each one
and
got to
then,
be read by itself.
and you want a motion in between?
Yep.
Right, so then you need a motion.
You heard the motion? Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Approval is asked for consideration of the settlement of Sanford Realty LLC versus the City of Milford regarding 655 Bridgeport Avenue.
Is there a second?
It's been seconded.
Motion is made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Board of Approval from the Board of Alders for consideration of settlement of Milford Boat Works Incorporated versus the City of Milford regarding 1 High Street.
Motion is made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Board of Aldermen approval for consideration of settlement of Milford Boat Works, Inc. and the City of Milford regarding 2 High Street.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Alderman Beatty.
Board of Alders support approval for consideration of
information.
collective bargaining agreement between the City of Milford and the United Public Service Employees, Union Local 424, Unit 97.
Mr. Chairman?
Milford Supervisors.
Sorry, point of information. Did we do 1 High Street?
I did A, B, C, D, E.
I believe we went right to 2.
B, there's no, you're talking A, they're only labeled A, B. Yeah, but A, B, C. So I didn't do 14A?
I think we did, we went right to, we did Sanford Realty, and then we did
No.
Milford Boat Works 2 High Street, so I
No.
believe we missed 14C.
No, I read, because I stumbled over East Broadway 0, Robert Tree Drive 0, East Broadway 14A. I read into the record. Tony, clarification? 14C. We missed that? So we have to do 14C. Thank you. All right, are we finished with what we've done so far?
Yeah.
Okay.
14C.
Board of Alder approval is requested for consideration of the settlement of Milford Boat Works Incorporated versus the City of Milford regarding 1 High Street.
Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed?
Thank you.
Motion passes unanimously. Alderman Beatty, the last one.
We did 14E.
You interrupted the last one. Do the last one over again.
14E, Board of Alder approval for consideration, is requested for consideration of collective bargaining agreement between the City of Milford and the United Public Service Employees Union Local 424, Unit 97, Milford Supervisors.
Motion is made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Motion is made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?